You good? Okay. So we have our homemade mason jar here. We're making an HHO generator. We just take regular old tap water. Come on over. Fill it up about yay much. We'll take a little bit out. Doesn't really matter, just personal preference. Take some regular old salt. You could also use baking soda. Oh, let's put this over here so you can see it. Okay, let's get this top open. Okay. Pour in about yay much. Take your handy dandy little plastic fork and stir it around nice and good. Put a little bit too much in there. Just try to get it to where I'm sitting down and it's all dissolved in the water. Okay, here's our other supplies. Okay, so here you have the lid to the mason jar. Right here, and then I took regular old speaker wire. Don't have to be too picky about it. And took just 2 metal pieces. I had little pieces of copper. Used them. And then took some plastic tubing, put another hole in that. We're going to put that in this water bottle right here. So after we have that all stirred up, I'm going to lay these down in here. Try to get them to where they're not touching, but nice and close to each other. And you also want to put some glue in the top of it to make sure nothing escapes. Now we'll take our other water bottle, doesn't matter what kind, just that's from earlier. Put it out. Take a minute, a little bit too much salt in it. Oh, and I am not responsible for anything in this video. What you do with it is your own thing. Not being held responsible for any way, implied or not. Okay. So just fill up your little water bottle. Doesn't matter how much. Fill it up about there. Set it right there. We'll put a drop or two or Dawn in it to help the bubbles a little bit more visible. Go ahead and put that in there and kind of do a little bit of stir. Okay. Put the tube in this. Put the lid on it. Nice and tight. And then you take your connectors at the ends of your wires. Grab my hands off first. And you take your standard 9-volt battery. Hook this up first. Go ahead and wrap that around there. You can use connector or just use your hands, it doesn't really matter. And then we just hook this up and let's watch the magic happen. There you go. Now it's starting up. Get some nice bubbles coming out of that. That build up a little bit. And then eventually those bubbles should run up through that tube and start bubbling up in the water bottle. Moved it off a little bit. Get that set back on there. Okay, there we go. Just give it a minute. It works better with baking soda. Okay, here we go. Here's our first few bubbles. And that coming out of there is HHO gas. Give me a minute, I'm going to work up to a bigger battery. See a little bit more action. Here we go. And this, I believe, is the simplest way to make the converter. Just wrap that around there. Hold that there. There you go. You might be able to get a little bit more action with baking powder. I know I was getting one to do about 3 or 4 seconds. Try to get the bubbles that are coming up. After I put the Dawn in, it's a little bit easier to see. I'm going to go back over to the jar. If you're using copper, it'll oxidize and start turning the water different colors. And turn nice pretty blue after a little bit. But anyway, that is how I made a simple HHO converter.